Hey everyone, my name is Lucas, or LSJ, and I'm going to be doing a noob's guide to nuclear metal in Black Ops 4. I noticed when I was doing the research that I needed to try and do my best in getting the nuclear metal in Black Ops 4, that there weren't many tutorials explaining actual strategies and gameplay mindsets to actually getting the nuclear metal. So here I'm going to try to provide you guys with the tips needed that allowed me to get a nuclear medal in Black Ops 4. So first of all is that I'm a PC player, and I know that this will be a little different for PS4 or Xbox One players, but it'll essentially be the same strategies. Gameplay is a bit different on PS4 and on Xbox One than on PC, but in general the gameplay flows the same way. PC is a bit different because the using a mouse allows for more snappy and more fast-paced aiming, and there is no aim assist also on PC, so just keep that in mind when I talk about the following strategies. So starting the gameplay here, you'll see that I'm actually playing on 3v3, and this is a playlist that isn't always going to be in Black Ops 4, but it is now while I obtained this medal. And playing on 3v3 was just a way for me to find a game mode that reduces the amount of tight gunfights that there were, essentially reducing the amount of players that could get in a gunfight with me at one time. And this is one of the reasons why you often die a lot in trying to get the nuclear medal, is that you get into gunfights where multiple enemies gun you down, and you simply can't deal with all the people shooting at you. So if this 3v3 playlist isn't available for you, I either suggest playing Domination, but that's a bit more risky because of the amount of people concentrating around the flags and using explosives, and the easy way that your enemy can get kill streaks that will end up killing you. So Domination, Kill Confirmed, and TDM are probably the best, and Free For All also, if you're confident enough to play in Free For All. So starting off with the strategies that I suggest for those that are trying to get the nuclear medal is to play conservative. Essentially, don't be afraid to take it slow. Try to challenge one enemy at a time. Essentially, try to reduce the amount of risky gunfights you're put in. You want to also reduce any aggressive peeks. If you challenge an enemy, he starts shooting at you first, and you have the opportunity to get out of that gunfight and regen, get out of the gunfight and regen your health. What I also suggest is that you use stealth and speed essentially in your gameplay. And this has a lot to do with the perks and also the class setup that you're going to use. So obviously one of my greatest suggestions is to use Dead Silence and Scavenger. Obviously you need Scavenger to regenerate your ammo, but Dead Silence is essential in the way that you won't be detected by the Acoustic Sensor, and that also coupled with the Acoustic Sensor you can hear your enemy footsteps really well. Next, I recommend, with the stealth part of the suggestions, to use a suppressed gun. I'm using here the Vepr with the suppressor. I'll show you guys my exact class setup later, but you want to use a suppressed gun just so your enemies don't know where you are, and it's easier for you to slip around the map without being detected. Next, I don't really suggest using any lethal score streaks. I recommend that you use counter UAV and UAV. You see in this game that I'm only using the UAV, but that's simply because I'm not a high enough level of the Prestige 3 to get the counter UAV unlocked, so I'm just using the UAV. Next, I recommend you using support specialists such as Crash right here. Using Crash was essential for me because I was able to, one, have constant ammo replenishing. Often Scavenger is not enough for you to have all the ammo you need, but the Assault Pack definitely is. Next is his ability to regenerate your health instantly and also give you a 50-point health boost with his specialist ability. Something that you should also note is that specialist weapons I believe will not count toward your gun streak, so using any specialist weapons, just such as the Purifier, will not count toward your nuclear. Something that I recommend also with specialists is to note the specialists that are playing in your game. For example, if someone is using a Purifier, you'll know that you'll have to face that Purifier at one point in the game, and this will allow you just to be conscious of these specialist abilities that so often can kill you without necessarily using any skill. The player can just use a specialist ability and kill you in a one-off. So I recommend you noting the specialists that are in the game, playing with you, just so you can be prepared for whatever specialist comes at you. Next is that if you have a team to play with you, this will greatly help you. For they can run any support streaks. They can run if you're not running Crash, they can run Crash for you, and you can get the assault packs. You can then run Recon or something that will also help you, and you don't necessarily need to be using it at Crash at all times. Again, the team will definitely help you. You'll see in the gameplay that because I'm not playing in a team, I took a few minutes to get into the chat of the game, which you have on PC but not on PS4 and Xbox One, to let the players know that I was close to a nuclear, and if they could leave some of the kills left, because it was nearing the end of the game and I still wasn't that close to the nuclear. So I just sent them a little message asking if I could get some of the kills. Obviously you might want to use game chat and just say, team, I'm close to nuclear, can I get any help, or just let me get some of the kills. Next, you'll also probably notice in this gameplay that I'm playing against some pretty low level players, and although this is not always the case, I was pretty lucky in getting matched with these low level players, obviously because this will help you greatly in allowing to kill them more easily, and facing less skilled opponents, you will not die that easily. So if you can get into lobbies with low level players, it will be much better for your streak. It's obviously not the case that you'll always get into these lobbies, but it is very helpful when you do. Next is that I'm not an amazing player. I'll show you guys later that my KD is actually 1.5, and I don't usually go on high streaks, so this is essentially a noob's guide. Although I'm not that high level of a player, I was still able to get this nuclear. So I'll leave you guys with the rest of the gameplay, and I'll come back once I've actually gotten the nuclear and show you the class setup exactly that I was using and the calling card that you get with the nuclear medal.
They're gone. Resup's good to go.
UAV standing by.
UAV perimeter established, Angels 10.
Bagged him.
UAV MTL 50% check.
Q stores open.
So as I load up my game here, you can see exactly the class that I was using, and that's a Vapor with Elo Suppressor and Rapid Fire and Fast Mags, the Acoustic Sensor, Scavenger, Lightweight and Dead Silence, and obviously that Primary Gunfighter wildcard so I could equip the extra attachment on my Vapor. And last but not least, I want to show you guys here my personal stats. You can see that my KD is actually a 1.57, and that's with me trying. It's actually, that's the actual level of player that I am. And this essentially shows that you don't have to be an amazing player with a 4 or 5 KD to be able to get this nuclear medal. And I'll show you guys here the calling card that you get for the nuclear killer. It's very, very nice. It'll definitely call attention to the players in the lobby because it's a very exclusive calling card, and it's also a Dark Ops challenge, so if you're aiming for that Dark Ops completion, it's one of the calling cards or challenges that you'll need. So, just for a recap of this video, reduce the amount of tight gunfights that you get into and pick a right game mode for you. Note the specialists that are in your game, reduce the aggressive peaks, play conservative, don't be afraid, use stealth and speed, use dead silence, and make use of that acoustic sensor, which indicates enemies that are close to you. Run support streaks and support specialists, and if possible, get into a lobby with your teammates or people that you know. So this has been my easy guide and strategies for a nuclear medal. I'll see you guys next time.